In case you missed it, able folks inadvertently called disabled people lazy. Yet again. In reference to Whole Foods' new pre-peeled oranges in plastic bins. If only nature would find a way to cover these oranges so we didn't need to waste so much plastic on them. Natalie Gordon posted on Twitter, and just like that, the post went viral with echoing sentiments about how lazy do you have to be to not peel a freaking orange. Once again, neglecting to consider how beneficial a product like this could be to someone who is disabled. There are many people with different disabilities who struggle with preparing food for themselves, who have given up entirely on anything that needs to be cut or peeled, because these can be both time-consuming and potentially dangerous to themselves. Usually, this makes fresh food no longer an option, and they have to opt for frozen, preserved foods instead. Products like these can be real game changers for those who need them. It certainly could be improved upon, perhaps reusable and microwavable containers for them to keep, encourage recycling them, and also making them economically accessible to all people. Unfortunately, I've heard that Whole Foods has since discontinued these products after the widespread negative response. For more examples on how able folks are ready to call a product lazy before ever considering that it might benefit people who are not them, and people who are disabled, please check out my video, Laziest Items on the Market. I will link it for you up here and in the description below. Still pretty upsetting that this still happens. OGO has launched their Indiegogo campaign this week. If you've never heard of OGO, it is the first completely hands-free, two-wheeled, self-balancing transportation device / wheelchair in the world. The OGO works using your core, leaning in the direction that you want to go in, so you don't need to push yourself, you don't need your hands. I am very excited about that. If you're not a wheelchair user, you may not know just how tricky it is to basically not have your hands available to you. If you want to carry something, you need to do it on your lap. And that's very difficult oftentimes when things may be heavy or in reference to food or drink or a camera. Definitely those were the first few things I thought of. If I could have my hands free and move at the same time, I would be vlogging way more often. I could handle a drink on my own if I'm out at a bar. Like, all the new possibilities.
I also can't forget to mention how amazing this is for folks who may not have arms, or folks without full function of their arms.
The OGO team is determined to keep costs as accessible as possible, but in order for that to happen, they need our help and they need contributions, so I will leave a link to their Indiegogo campaign in the description below, so please check that out. And finally, I want to talk really quick about Zootopia that I got to see this week. I thought it was so fantastic. I have to look into it a bit more. I'm a little conflicted about casting because, very specifically, you know, I'm all about diversity in the media, but this film had so many metaphors, so many tongue-in-cheek metaphors about anti-sexism and anti-racism, and just kind of like, if you've learned to recognize sexism and racism in your social everyday, you'll recognize the references they make in the movie. The rabbit in the film seemed to be a real metaphor for women and gender inequality in the workplace and in social interactions. And the fox seemed to be representative of racism, of the oppression that people of color face, and the stereotypes that are very harmful. So right now I was just thinking like, then shouldn't the fox have been cast as a person of color? So I might be speaking too soon. I do have to check out, who exactly is in that cast and what's up with that. But in general, as a movie and as a children's movie, I thought that these were great messages to send out, really kind of inspiring in that way to realize that we still have a long way to go in order for everyone to be equal and keep the faith. And if we, uplift people's narratives and listen to each other and learn from one another and really focus on creating an equal society, that we can get there. We can change the world little by little every day. And I was very inspired by that, very motivated by that, and highly recommend it. Really, really interesting movie. And that's it for In Case You Missed It this week. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please leave me a little message in the comments below. And I will see you probably tomorrow in another video. Okay, bye!